Greetings, Disney Cynics! Is your life harder than a day-old Mickey pretzel? Is your quest to get away from people your real mission space? Are you always midway to mania? Well, refrain from flash photography, eating, drinking, and smoking for Navigating Disney, a Cynic's Guide. And now, your host, a woman who made the Kessel Run in 4 parsecs, Caitlin Owl!
Okay, no, that's it. That's going on my resume. Just the very first thing. It's just going to be my name, like my LinkedIn, and then that's going to be my qualities. So with that, welcome everyone. We are so happy to have you back for our newest live stream. Tonight we're going to be talking about character interactions. I'm very excited about this. But how about lovely co-hosts? How about you introduce yourselves?
Mark Sheldon here.
Dan Maselli here.
I feel like I should get you guys gold stars. You got your names right. Good job.
It was close.
I feel really bad because I always get this like really like just awesome introduction from Mark, and then I'm like, "What are your names?"
Sometimes you ask.
Yeah. Yeah, true. Next time I'll just be like, "And these losers." But anyway, we have a lot of news. So I guess let's see if reporter Mark is in right now. Can you throw it to the news?
And now, bringing you your Disney Cynic News. This is DCN.
And welcome, Disney Cynics. You know, we've got so much news to get through today. The Epcot's World Showcase Morocco Pavilion, a chimney that was insta-famous for looking like a member of the Moroccan royal family, was replaced with a nondescript door, proving that it's hard to have nice things. You guys have any reaction to this? Did you see this at all?
Is there any truth to the rumor they took a little off the top? Just took it down a little bit.
That would be in the in a different pavilion.
Oh, fair.
Okay. I'm trying to be well behaved, and you two, my gentlemen. No, so I didn't know about this until Mark messaged our group chat and was like, "Hey, thinking of like important news for the week because we have so much. Do you think we should talk about like the big dick?" And I was like, "Yeah, whatever." What? And I like had to go back and be like, "I'm sorry, what? So yeah. Look, I feel like anyone in marketing at this point, biggest pro tip for you, if it looks like a dick, don't use it. Just don't, because people are not mature. I'm not. Dan's not. Mark kind of is. He's. It depends on the day.
I mean, the saddest thing about it is that, I mean, now it's like, if you want to go to that special spot, you got to go to the purple wall now. It's like we lost another landmark for photo taking.
I want that photo. I mourn for that now that I've lost that opportunity.
I mean, we could set up some type of like virtual service where we could Photoshop people in front of the chimney.
That's our $1 million idea right there.
I like, it seems like there's like some type of like, Mary Poppins chimney sweep crossover that should have happened with this, where, there's somebody cleaning the chimney.
Mark, just quit your day job.
But why are they using a sounding rod for that? Oh, sorry.
Moving on, if we
Caitlin.
can. Disney Plus's Falcon and the Winter Soldier ended this week. Without any spoilers, is there anything that we felt about this series? Was there enough montages of repairing shrimp boats for you guys? I thought there was some.
I mean, I've been jonesing for that since Forrest Gump came out, so it's like it was just nice to go back to that again to be able to see that. Otherwise, no, I loved it. It worked out just the way you thought it was going to, and it was just done very well.
I felt bad because this coming second to Scarlet Witch for me, it didn't love it as much, but I still thought it was amazing and really fantastic. And the last 2 episodes, especially with Falcon talking about his role, and just as a Black man society and what happens there, I thought they handled that really well. I thought it was really, really well done. So excited for Loki next, right?
Yeah, Loki
coming 6 weeks off now.
Yep.
Oh,
Coming in
okay.
in June. That's early June. I don't know if it's. I mean, it may be close to 5 weeks now. The I agree. You know, there were certainly moments where I cheered. I really like when it pays off. I was very excited for the unveiling of Sam's story. I mean, I feel like they even made like I felt like maybe they could have hit that note even harder. But I mean, I understand that like they're trying to do something that's like a balanced story. But I really enjoyed Falcon and the Winter Soldier. So long-lived Mark Davison installed animatronic and cultural abomination Trader Sam was replaced with a gag about a gift shop this week. And there are more changes to come to the Jungle Cruise. What do you guys think? You have any reaction to this?
I mean, it's better than it was.
Yeah, like, well, yeah, let's get rid of old racist depictions of people. I mean, let's do it.
I mean, at least it fits the theming where Trader Sam, it's a gift shop now, which also goes in line with Disney, let's face it. So all around, it just kind of makes sense.
Yeah, the gag makes sense. And I think it like, it does a little bit of fan service to like, much like the bride auction turning into the general, the swag auction over at Pirates. It's trying to find that balance between cultural sensitivity and just having some form of fan service, which is not an easy line to walk, I guess, because Disney fans are not always cool.
Yeah, finding out a lot more about that in the news recently. Anyway, more on our news.
Disneyland reopens as of this podcast tomorrow. The soft openings completed over the last few days. I have some friends who were in the parks earlier this week. They were having a good time. Obviously this is a hard thing for us to celebrate being so far away, but nice to know that the gears have started moving out there on the West Coast.
Yeah, I want to go. I actually really want to go. Dan, make it happen.
You can't right now. So it's just California residents.
No, I can,
maybe.
sir. So I have to move there, become a resident, go, come back, become another resident.
By then, yes.
Yeah, it's a bit of work, but I mean, what
put myself in a box, and I'll put that box in a bigger box, and then I'll hit it with a hammer.
But no, I'm excited for them. I'm also very happy for all the cast members who got called back. I'm ready for. I'm ready for the pandemic to be over. So.
Yeah, I mean, anything that is an indication that the pandemic is rolling to a close is welcome news.
Absolutely.
It was nice seeing the castle lit up one more time. That whole little ceremony they did just to bring it back to life after over a year being dark. So
yeah. And I'm sure that I don't know if you guys know about the cats at Disneyland. They have cats, but I'm sure they've completely overrun the place, and that they're their own. You can put saddles on them and ride them as their own attraction now. But that's a story for another time.
Is that what Cats the Musical is actually based on?
Yes, that's what Angelical is a cat that lives at Disneyland.
Yeah,
that makes just as much sense as that goddamn awful musical.
Absolutely.
Luca, the next Pixar movie is set in the Italian islands. The trailer dropped this week. Luca arrives on Disney Plus on June 18th. You guys see this trailer?
I did. I loved it, and I am excited for the male Little Mermaid.
I also forgot to watch this trailer, but as an update, I have now watched half of the Cruella trailer.
Ooh, half.
Wow.
So, yeah, it was on mute because I was picking up something from Hot Topic.
That is the, yeah.
I mean, it looks like it's going to be a fun movie. I am really looking forward to it.
Yeah.
I am too. And, I love Pixar, so I'm very excited.
Very exciting news, and hearkening back to our very first episode, one of the Disney Beefs. Dress codes at Disney have been changed and updated to better reflect and align with cultural expression and gender neutrality. This is a change to a long-held show first quality, bringing inclusion into the Disney pillars. I know, Caitlin, you have to have an opinion about this.
I'm thrilled. I can finally quit my job to become a cast member. I actually am really happy about this because, like, I mean, you got some. If you're actually joining us live, you can see I have multiple tattoos. I've forgotten how many piercings. It's been a way for me to express a lot of things that I won't go into detail here because we can be here for hours. But it means something to me that Disney is willing to talk about the fact that we each are individual in our own ways. Also, gender fluidity is huge for me. I use she, they pronouns. I love the fact that we can start having people who want to look the way they want to look versus having to just be a cast member. And I do harken back to the first episode and you guys saying, oh, it's like theater, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I 100% believe that still. I really appreciate that opinion. But what is theater without telling us that we have to explore who we are? And I think Disney's finally giving us that. And I'm truly, truly, truly excited. I have seen some amazing cast member tattoos on social media already. There was a joke going around like Mr. Toad calling someone a bitch probably still isn't appropriate. Sure. Yep, I see that. But it's nice to also just see people being individual and Disney saying, we need to be inclusive of this. So I'm warm and fuzzy, heart is full, so happy about it. Thank you, Disney.
Yeah, I'm with you there, Caitlin. It's a great move. And going back to that first episode, we were saying it's like theater. It's like it was the people that were complaining about it, and that's how it was. That's what the casting was for the role. They've changed the casting. So at this point now, I mean, as long as they're not taking this to the extreme, like you'll see people talking about online, which is hilarious. Like, oh, now you're going to have people with like teardrop tattoos and these full sleeve tattoos with all these naked people and everything. And it's like, no, that's not what's happening here. They've tweaked it to allow for, people, just normal people to come in with, they got a tattoo and they want to work at Disney. It's not an excluding factor anymore. Or it's not something where they have to wear an entire long sleeve shirt to cover up a small wrist tattoo. And it goes a long way, and I think it's a great thing.
This is Caitlin just realizing right now that I can apply to be one of those like Disney international travel people. And I actually qualify now. So, stay tuned.
So at the end of a press event, Disney Parks chairman Josh D'Amaro revealed a concept for a real retractable lightsaber. It was not a CGI effect. Likely this is an effect for in-park shows or other applications. No one's seen this thing. But the press was just alight with it. Any thoughts around this?
I mean, it's going to be a cool prop, but outside of that, it's like, okay. I mean, those type of toys exist, not to that level. This is just kind of the next evolution of it. And yeah, it will make for better, theming and just like visual effects for it. But it's another lightsaber. Call me when a real one happens.
I was more terrified / really excited and intrigued by the Baby Groot.
You know what? And I don't have a news item for Baby Groot. Probably should. That's an oversight. But the Baby Groot animatronic, which doesn't have any specific application other than exploration, is definitely leaps and bounds above the walking dinosaur or the Muppet Mobile Lab kind of stuff that we've had in kind of self-driven audio animatronics. Really exciting stuff.
Yeah.
And last but not least, the Tomorrowland Transit Authority People Mover has reopened and is ready to reintroduce new riders to the thrill of moving slowly in a circle, and hoping that Space Mountain is down for maintenance and the lights are on. I love the Tomorrowland Transit Authority. I really do. It's just it's hard to explain. It's like many things at Disney. It's so much more than the sum of its parts. It sounds like nothing, but it is such a joy.
Agreed. I have to thank Dan for actually like encouraging me to go on it. It was actually one of my favorite things I did at Disney, and like I have been low-key anxious for about a year that something was seriously wrong with the People Mover, and so the fact that it's back, the fact that people are loving it again, made me so happy. I cannot wait to be on it. It holds a lot of special memories for me of like riding it with Dan and my dad, and it just People Mover. I'd vote for the People Mover for president. I'm just going to throw that out there right now.
That is one way to do it.
Would not be the worst president we've had in the last 10 years.
Exactly.
That is true. I got to say, I'm glad it's back. It's also one of those rides when you come around one of the corners, especially at night, and the castle's all lit up and it's just there. It's just a great viewpoint, and it's just a nice relax. Like there's always a cool breeze up there when you're riding around, and it's just a fun time, and I love it. Plus, you get to see the actual prototype model of Epcot, which is
Tomorrow City.
Yep.
And you're not like your fears are not baseless, Caitlin. I mean, back in the 90s, New Tomorrowland and Disneyland, they installed the rocket rods, which were a replacement for the People Mover. That was a fast-moving ride. They skimped on it, and it destroyed the track. And now they don't have a People Mover. So the People Mover that Walt installed just doesn't exist anymore.
Well, that's sad. Thanks, Mark.
It's what I do.
The other fun thing about rocket rods was they used rubber, just the rubber tires they used on it. They wanted to go fast, but as everybody knows has been on the People Mover, it's got very sharp turns that it takes. So those things just chewed through tires and destroyed the tires as well as the track. So it lasted like a year and a half before they just said, this is done. Not even. And
I'll tell you what, my People Mover story is I was waiting in line for the People Mover. It was my one and only chance to ride it. I mean, not the People Mover, the rocket rods, which great name, by the way. And the ride broke down when I was about maybe 30 feet from boarding, and it didn't reopen that night.
Oh, that's too bad.
They really called it rocket rods.
That was the name of it. Yep.
And all the cars were colored red. It was just really just strange.
Well,
they were like a gold, like steampunk
with like some hair on them.
Just it was blowing around when you got going.
It doesn't get better if you look it up, because they're big fat tires on the back, and it's kind of like a narrow, long.
Again, just putting this out there for anyone who wants to go into marketing. If people can get that low with their humor, they're gonna. We're examples.
Mm-hmm.
So that's it for the news. Very, very eventful week. I don't know. Like I obviously did not think about Disney as much as I do now a couple of years ago, but it seems like they've really been making like huge strides. There's always something happening. And I really enjoyed Twitter this week talking about Disney as well. But with that, we're going to talk about character experiences, which I'm super excited about because it's one of my favorite things. I think I've absolutely annoyed people with how much I try to bring it up on this podcast. So they gave me a whole episode. I'm so excited. So I feel like I am going to like steamroll the conversation. So I am giving it to either of you. Would you like to go first?
Why don't you go first?
Dan, you cool with that?
Yeah. Dan can go first if you want.
No, Caitlin can go first. It's fine. We'll let her go on for about a half hour.
Thanks. Just start the timer. All right. So first one I want to talk about. I will say this stems from childhood. Darth Vader. So I have to preface this with I grew up a Star Wars kid, was always kind of nerdy and awkward. I still am. But Darth Vader, I actually got to meet David Prowse when I was a kid, and he changed my life in that instance. I'm not going to spend a lot of time talking about the story, but he was a very kind and beautiful man. So when we got to Hollywood Studios, our first day in Hollywood Studios, second day of our trip with Dan and Heather, Jesse had gone off to ride Tower of Terror with his family, and I was terrified of the idea. So I took my stepdaughter, and then Dan, Heather, and I, and Kaylee were all kind of walking around. And we decided to go to do Star Wars. And I was like, okay, I'm going to get in the room with Darth Vader, and I'm going to be like, can we take a prom picture? Now, I'm talking like prom pictures where you're like being cheesy and like the guy's behind you and you're like staring at the camera, like happy as can be. And I'm like, Dan, I'm going to ask Darth Vader for this. I'm terrified, but I'm going to do it. And we're going to get this ridiculous picture. And Dan's just like, all right, cool. So we go through into the Star Wars interactive experience. The kids have seen, I think at this point they had seen Chewie. So for those of you who haven't been to this, it's like literally like a warehouse full of Star Wars characters, and you can just go up to each of them. So we get to Darth Vader, and this is Dan, his wife Heather, his daughter Kaylee, and my stepdaughter Nora and I, and they're freaking out. Like they are just legitimately freaking out at this point. And I was like, guys, it's okay. Dan and I are going to meet Darth Vader. Because on the way over, Dan has decided he's going to take his credit card that has Darth Vader's face on it and get a picture standing next to Darth Vader. More on that in a second. So we walk into the bay where Darth Vader is, and there's like no one but a cast member. And the girls are standing there next to each other, and they're like, I don't want to see Darth Vader. I don't want to see Darth Vader. I'm not going to see Darth Vader. And I look up, and this at least 6'5" foot Darth Vader comes around the corner. And Nora and Kaylee dead set look at him, and he looms over them and just breathes. And they both go and lean like as far back to the door as they can to try to like exit. And meanwhile, Dan and I are like, yay! So I think, Dan, you went first, right?
I don't remember who went first there. That was just that one was a blur with everything going on with the girls freaking out.
Fair. So Heather was kind enough to like be like, he's not going to kill you. Come with me. And so Dan and I could get our pictures. And I'm pretty sure Dan went first. So he goes up there, and Darth Vader is just kind of like, what, like he is very in character. He's not really talking. And Dan's like, I've got a picture of you on my credit card. Can I get a picture? And Darth's like, yeah, he said something like the force is strong with you, or like, thank you for choosing the dark side.
Yeah,
and
I think it was something like that.
I'm like, oh, what is he going to say to me? Because I'm scared, but I want to meet him. And so Dan takes out his card and takes a picture. And I've got this, I can't show it to you all. I'm going to tell you why in a second. I've got this photo of Darth Vader, like hands on his hips, like staring directly at the camera. And Dan, like shit-eating grin, like kind of chin up, like, look how cool I am holding his credit card. And so they take the photo, whatever, walk off. So it's my turn, right? And I walk up to him, and he's like, hello, like trying to start the interaction with me. And I was like, I love you. And he's just like, you can see the cast members just like, yeah, all right, another one of these. And I was like, can I take like a prom picture with you? Like, could you like get behind me and like hold my waist? And he was like, absolutely not. Like, obviously, like in character as Darth Vader. And I was like, okay. So I'm 5'9", flat-footed. I was in flip-flops at this time because decided that was a good idea in Disney. And I look up at him, and so I have a picture of me like looking up at Darth Vader, and I'm like, oh my god, this is your shot. So I did what my brother calls my Ralphie smile, which is just me full teeth, not actually smiling, and I just like shit-eating grin, look at Darth Vader, cross my hands over my lap, and just beam up at him. And they got the picture right then. And it was, I didn't know anything about it. Obviously, this is one of the cast interactions where it's just random photos that they take automatically. So we walk out, the girls go meet BB-8, that kind of thing. And I'm just like wanting my picture to come through because I want to see what they got. Because I wanted this prom picture. I wanted this interaction. And I get it. And it is one of the photos that makes me truly the happiest I've ever been, because it is literally me looking at Darth Vader like I'm squeeing like a fangirl, and Darth Vader's looking down at me just like, you're basic. And I love it so much. Meanwhile, and here's the ending to this story, Dan, and we all get back to our hotel room, and I'm like, I have to put this picture on Facebook. I put it on Facebook immediately and put like the caption like, it's been a lifetime kind of love. Because it's true, I've loved him since I was a child. And I get a message from Dan. He's like, Caitlin, don't put my photo on Facebook. And I was like, oh, he probably like wants to put it up himself. The next day, I'm like, hey, are you going to put up the Darth Vader photo on Facebook? And he was like, no, I'm not. And I was like, oh, did it not come? And I like pull up my PhotoPass app, and there's a great photo of Dan with Darth Vader. And I click it, and I was like, this is great. Put it on Facebook. And he's like,
Credit card.
my credit card number's on
zoom
the
in.
front. He was like, it's such a great shot, but like you could see my credit card number. And I was like, huh. And he's like, I should have thought about that. And I was like, yeah, we should have thought about that.
Yeah, I didn't even see the photo first. It just kind of popped in my head all of a sudden. It's like, oh yeah, that probably wasn't the best idea. Caitlin, please don't post that.
But it was.
I know somebody who knows Photoshop, Dan. If it helps.
It's actually not terrible. Like you have to really zoom in, but honestly, it was just this amazing experience because Nora and Kaylee for the rest of the trip talked about how terrifying Darth Vader was. Dan was cracking up about his credit card, and I was just like, I will always love this moment, and I will always love Darth Vader. And it was great because the cast member did not break once. They were fully in character, and he let me be as ridiculous as possible, and it was mwah! Loved it.
Now you left one important part of that out, Caitlin.
Uh-oh.
You were also batting your eyes.
Oh, was I? Awesome.
Yes.
Go me. No, like seriously, like I love him. Love him. Darth hit me up. And so one of my background props, which is so perfectly placed, was a present from my husband that is just tattoos of Darth Vader on a loungefly. So wonderful. For those of you who can't see it, I'll post a photo to Instagram. But Darth Vader forever. Thank you so much. Now, who's gonna top that?
Well, I was just going to add to it first with my Darth Vader story, and I don't know if the girls had any interest in doing the Jedi Academy. Or I think it's the Trials of the Jedi Temple now. When it was the Jedi Academy, which was a much shorter and I would say much better show. It had less Sith. It had less Sith in it, but you were going to fight Darth Vader, not obscure animated character my kids had never heard of. And the first time we did it, Emma was just old enough to do it. I think you have to be 4 or 5. However old you have to be to do it, that's how old she was. And she had a Leia hoodie. With the cinnamon buns on it. Mm-hmm. So she was very excited to be up there, and surprising no one, she was very comfortable being on stage. And she fought Darth Vader, like you do. And then unlike all the other kids, because all the kids got to fight Darth Vader, she got charged by the stormtroopers. And they're like, stop right there. And they're like, quick, force push them. And she didn't miss a beat. She just went, like Hayukin, and like the stormtroopers went flying back, and she like just looked at her hand like,
that's
yes.
terrific.
It was there's a PhotoPass person on a rolling stool shooting that whole thing. I was videotaping it. It was one of the better sort of plus moments that you sometimes get at the parks. And it was just a great piece of magic.
I love that.
Dan, I've been talking for a little bit on top of that. You want to go next?
Yeah, sure. We'll go with Tiana next. Now, Tiana has a special place in our household because Kaylee absolutely loved the movie. She fell in love with Tiana. And of course, my obsession with Shadow Man is, pretty well known at this point. So, our first trip that we took down there, she was just shy of 4 years old, completely in love with Tiana, hadn't met any princesses yet. We got to the Magic Kingdom around lunchtime, so we did a couple of rides, and then we had a dinner at Be Our Guest, but we had about 45 minutes before that dinner, so we decided we were going to go take her to see a princess, and we found Tiana was there, so we brought her to see Tiana. So we get in, and the second that Kaylee sees Tiana, it's like jaw drops, hand over the mouth, like just eyes wide open, and Tiana just drops down to her level, gives her a big hug, and we had brought a bunch of index cards for Kaylee to sign, to have all the princesses sign. So she got to do that with her, and they just had a great visit talking. And Kaylee was talking a little bit about how much she loves Tiana, and it was just that whole experience of her first princess, and it was just so well done, and just her reaction just made it the best.
That is like, it's like so much what like makes a princess experience, like, just worth having. And
Yep.
like the Jesus, sorry kids. I do this for a living. But like, like Emma had a like beautiful a Tiana dress at one point too, and it really like, it's such a cool thing. And like, I don't know if you saw her at the little gazebo over by Liberty Square. Is that where she was?
No, she was actually, it was her and Rapunzel over by it was like the Cinderella area meet and greet over by the carousel. They have their own room there, and Tiana was one of the princesses that was, part of the visit. So that's where we wound up going. I think Elena was on the other side.
Yeah, you know what? I mean, I don't want to cast shade at Elena, but like, I feel like you've got like all these top tier, movie princesses, and then you got a Disney Channel princess in the mix. It's just, I'm all for, spreading the love around. So like, everybody gets to see their favorite princess, but I have no point of entry for Elena.
I gotta say, phrasing on that one. Oh boy.
I do have to say, though, I think Nora and to some extent Kaylee would like literally shit their pants if they could be any of the Descendants characters.
Oh my god, yes.
So just there's that.
I feel like what's her name? The actress from The Descendants and Liv and Maddie.
The blonde one.
Yeah, she's got a project coming up, and I'm not going to be any use to you. That's where that sentence ends.
Well, she's in the Powerpuff Girl.
Thank you. I knew that.
Oh, cool.
It's like her, Chloe Bennett, and I forget who the third one is.
Yeah, she plays Bubbles.
I think so. Yeah.
That's adorable.
It's supposed to be a gritty reboot.
Mark, tell us more about your hopes and dreams.
Well, my late entry here is a Jack story. And it really comes down to like, for a long time I was going to talk about Magic Mickey because like there's nothing like more amazing than having Mickey talk to you. But there may the retired Star-Lord and Baby Groot interaction that was at Hollywood Studios for a while was one of Jack's favorite things. He loves Baby Groot, and he was small enough that for him, I don't know. It's interesting because you go into a kind of a space hangar type thing, and you've got a very, very convincing Baby Groot that is like, holding some wires, like he's ready to like hook up the music, like at the beginning of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. And you've got a guy who vaguely looks like Chris Pratt. So it's one of those rare instances in which the fake thing is significantly more convincing than the just a guy with a scruff that's blonde. I mean, like, they could have had the mask down. Maybe that would have made it work more. I don't know. But I mean, it's just one of those things where like, Jack was every inch convinced. He didn't even notice like the out of work, English major who was like, playing Star-Lord. He was too preoccupied. There's a lot of you. He was way too preoccupied with meeting the actual Groot, which was pretty awesome for him.
English majors are going to come at you, and I'm going to lead them.
I'm going to counter with dropping every Oxford comma I've ever seen.
Oh wow, that's it. We're done. We are done with this podcast, sir. I would actively log out if I didn't think you would not let me back in.
So tell you what, why don't we throw it back over to you, Caitlin?
Okay. I chose this one last for this because this is, I have to give credit to Jesse for this. So you guys, if you have been with us since the beginning, you heard our what was the terrible pun? I've been trying not to make them. Moushy Stuff. You heard our Moushy Stuff episode where Jesse and I talked about our first wedding anniversary being in Epcot. Well, you might remember we did get there early and we hadn't started drinking yet, but we're on our way to go drink. And we're walking through the park and he's like, it's our last night. You've been kind of a brat. He didn't say that, but I thought it about myself. And he was like, what's something special that would happen for you? And I was like, I don't know. Like, let's just go have our anniversary. Like, I didn't know at this point. And I was like, the only thing like I really wanted to do was I wanted to meet some more characters. And I already met Darth Vader and put that photo up on Facebook and like, whatever. And he was like, well, who did you want to meet? And I was like, there have only been like a handful of Disney movies that I feel like have truly like changed who I am. And I was like, one of them is Inside Out because of Sadness. And I would love to meet Sadness. And Jesse was like, all right, let's do it. And I was like, we have a dinner reservation. He's like, yeah, at 8:30. It's like 6:00 now. And I was like, well, we're going to go drink around the world. And he's like, yeah, we are. And we'll do that in double time. Whatever. Our livers can take it. Let's go meet Sadness. So there is a character meet and greet, and it's Sadness and Joy. So I don't really care about Joy at this point. But as we're walking up, we like get in line. There's not many people there. Jesse actually has a picture of me in line, like, and I'm just like pissed off and I look horrible. And I would ask that he delete it, but whatever. And he's like, you know, that movie meant so much to you. Why don't you ask if you can pose like Sadness for your photo? And I was like, the only like thing that makes me like truly think of Sadness is when she's laying on the floor and they're trying to take her back to headquarters, and Joy is like, you have to lead the way, you know how to go. And Sadness is just laying there and says, I'm too sad to walk, give me a few hours. And Jesse was like, do it, ask them if you can lay on the floor and have Joy drag you. And I was like, that is a little too far, I am not doing this. So as we're waiting in line, Jesse is just like, do it, don't do it. So we get into the room and I see Sadness and I actually started to cry. It just meant so much to me because like the way that they portrayed mental health in that movie and the way that they talk about the fact that in order to have joy, you have to have sadness. It meant so much to me. Like this is truly a defining moment in my life that I constantly go back to. And I have a picture of me hugging Sadness and I can hear the cast member go, I've never seen like a joining of souls like that before. That's very interesting. And I'm just like, sure, yep, why not? And so I'm taking pictures. Like they had me pretend to be sad in a photo. They had me pretend to be happy in a photo. Jesse's just standing off to the sideline like, you're going to do it. And I was like, I'm not going to ask them. That's ridiculous. So he finally convinces me and he's like, ask the cast member. And I was like, can I take a photo of me pretending to be Sadness and having Joy dragging me across the floor? And the photo taker was like, Joy? And Joy was like, 2 thumbs. And I was like, all right, we're doing this. We're doing this right now. So I literally laid down on the floor and there's a photo of me like passed out like Sadness with Joy pretending to drag me across the photo op. And I got up and I was so like delighted they let me do this. It meant so much to me. I went up to Sadness, who I'm sure is like some 18-year-old kid who's probably told the story about like the crazy lady. And I was like, thank you for giving like a voice to what it means to be sad. And the person was just like their hands are like pasted to their chest because they're Sadness, right? And they just like kind of bobbled a little. And I was like so happy. And I left. And it was just this like monumental experience for me because these were 2 characters that I felt like they were doing a really good service to, right? Like you didn't have the duality, or you had the duality here. You had joy and sadness, which was the point of the whole movie. So enjoy that lovely tale, because I'm going to ruin it for you all now. Sadness is actually no longer a character meet and greet at Disney. So actually shortly after that, they retired her. I do hope they bring her back at some point, but her as well as Baymax, who is like on the other side of that meet and greet, are no longer available for meet and greets. Joy still is and will be coming back, but sad about sadness.
So let me tell you how lucky you are, Caitlin.
Oh, great.
Because you were there for that trip days before my family was there, and
no, we were there at the same time.
We had overlap. Your last day was before we were bounding as the. For those of you who don't know, Disney bounding is a concept where you dress in the style of, inspired by Disney characters. You go to the parks, and the palette and the style choices are like, what if the Pixar film Inside Out, the emotions were, people, and like this is how you would think they might dress. So I was panic, or not panic. I was
anger.
I was fear. Jack was angry. He had like a red ball cap and a red shirt, like with a white overshirt and red shorts. And red chucks. I had a purple shirt and shorts, and a that like kind of like black plaid. I had like an infinity scarf and a black purple fedora. But Emma was joy, Carrie was disgust, and Emma carried a purse, like you drag, a blue purse with sunglasses kind of tilted on it, big round sunglasses, so it was like dragging sadness around. And when we got there, we found out that sadness was no longer a character as of the last 48 hours.
Oh my God, what?
So you were one of the last people.
Maybe it's because I freaked them out so bad.
Well, Caitlin, it's what you did, like that whole thing where it's like, you know what? We can't top this. It's done. We got to retire it.
Oh my God. I didn't know that about you. First, I didn't know you guys went to the park looking like that. That's just, love it. Want to see photos. Second, whoa.
Yeah, we've done the like the classic Disney characters, like, Mickey, Donald, Goofy, Daisy, or Mickey, Donald, Goose, Minnie. On our upcoming trip, we're bounding as Marvel characters, as the Avengers.
I'm actually like weird emotions right now. Feel weird about this being live. I'm super sad that sadness is gone. I feel privileged that I got to like see her as her last one, but like it's also sad.
Well, I mean, but you're allowed to feel that emotion. In fact, it's important that you do if you want to process. You can't just bury it in joyness. No, that's anger.
Fair.
That was anger.
I wish I could do like the anger, like head pop off,
like with the flames shooting out.
Anyway, thank you for listening to my emotional thing, whatever. But also, like I said, just shout out to Jesse for convincing me that I needed to do that, because I will literally have that forever. So, all right, Mark or Dan, who is next?
Let's throw Dan up.
All right, I'm going next.
I do have to say I'm a little afraid though. Dan, I'm looking forward to what you have to say. But when Mark goes last on one of these, I end up crying. So just put your bets down now. Dan, have the floor.
Okay, so I cede my time to Mark so that he can make it and cry. Like, is that what we're doing?
No. Let's talk about how cute your kid is sometimes.
Okay. Next up, I'm gonna go with Merida. Now she has her own special meet and greet area over by the castle, and we were in line. She took a break, came back, and continued. And then we were moving through the line next, and we was coming up on what was probably gonna be another break time, and we thought, okay, we're gonna miss out again, and we're gonna be stuck on the outside. Turns out we were the last ones to get in before they cut the line off.
Oh.
And as a result of that, Merida spent about 10 minutes with Kaylee, just talking about everything. Her handler is like, no, really, it's break time. You need to leave. like, we need to step away. And she's like, no. She kept waving him off and kept talking to Kaylee. You could see the people that got cut off that were just waiting there. They were livid about the amount of time Kaylee had with them. You could tell they were getting angry. It's like, what? We could have had more people come through. What's going on here? And then, so they talked about everything, just anything you can imagine, talking with a 4-year-old that they just went through. And it was just this ridiculously long conversation. Merida gave her a big hug. They had their pictures. And then Merida just walked off. We walked away, and everybody was just kind of gave us looks on the way out. It's like, really? You spent that much time with her, and we've been waiting here? It's like, don't look at us. Merida didn't want to leave. Like, her handler. It must have been like 2 or 3 times the handler was like, no, it's time to go. And then finally she gave in.
I think I love Kaylee in Disney stories because Kaylee is like, she interacts with the characters very well. But like, my personal favorite Kaylee in Disney story is when she got into an argument with Gaston. But we'll have to save that for like part 2.
Yeah, that was a pretty great one.
Because I could talk about characters forever. It just all right, Mark, bring it. Come on, come at me.
Bring the tears, Mark.
Yeah, I don't know that it's going to be.
You getting 3? That's 5 total, and you were mad at me about Darth Vader taking half an hour.
I wasn't mad about that.
No, okay.
But I feel like I don't frequently do 3 as 1. No. But that's like, it's off brand for me. It's on brand for you. But it's not 3 experiences. So prior to the current, meet and greet for princesses, that is where Snow White's Scary Adventures was or is now, where you go in 2 directions and you can meet 2 princesses or 2 princesses. Mm-hmm. There was at Mickey's Toontown Fair, you could meet 3 princesses. You could meet Cinderella, Belle, and Sleeping Beauty, aka Briar Rose, aka Aurora. That's like, that was kind of a cool thing. You'd go down the line and you would meet the 3 princesses. But the nice thing that happened during one of our last trips before Jack was born, so Emma was very little, and very, very about princesses, was we were there near the end of the day, and as they were wrapping up, Emma met Cinderella, and then she met Belle, and then she met Sleeping Beauty. And while she was standing with Sleeping Beauty, Cinderella and Belle came around both sides of her and kneeled down. The 3 of them knelt down, and they like talked to her for a while, and they all posed for a picture with her. But like, the moment for us, and it, like, this is where, like, Disney really is about like single moments that are worth that several $1,000s, like, that you're paying. When she was like doing the thing where, like, she would like tense up to, like, and put on the picture, and then she looked behind her and the 3 princesses were behind her, and then she looked back and her like eyes got bigger and bigger. And the princesses they don't stay princesses to the little ones forever. And it really is something special to be able to take these moments with you. And they really do just kind of like, if you can remember those times and remember that your kids are going to get to have these times someday with their kids, that really is the thing that blasts a light through the darker parts of your life. They don't stay little forever. And just to have that moment, like Dan mentioned with Merida, or seeing Tiana, or just like being able to be with your kid in a moment of pure, unadulterated joy, is a thing of goddamn beauty. So that's all I got to say about that, kids.
So my character interactions were both about me.
Fitting.
So I guess I'll just quit life now. Thanks, Mark.
No, I do have to say, I want to throw one more quick little anecdote in about a character meet and greet. It
Mhm.
wasn't worthy of a full story, but Kaylee met Tarzan while we were at Animal Kingdom. And the only takeaway she had from that she asked him is, why are you wearing sandals? So it was just a little one-off thing, but it was just so funny that that one's going to stick with me always.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I actually have a question. Mark, I'll fight you. Come on. I actually have a question for you guys. Put you on the spot. So you guys have been around for centuries now. If you could meet any Disney character that you've never gotten to meet before, whether they were a character or they could potentially be a character still, who would it be for you personally?
Do I even have to answer, Caitlin?
Okay, that's one of the reasons I asked this question, because I thought it'd be easy for you and you could stall for time for Mark.
Have you not met Shadow Man?
No, I have not. I have not had that opportunity yet.
Oh.
So, and I actually have this whole picture that I want to do with him. I want to go to the, dressed up as Ray and to be laying on the ground about to be stomped out by him, just like that whole thing. And that's the picture I want. And it's just got to make that happen someday.
That's a bulky costume. Ray's got a big back porch.
He does.
I would Oswald, or I've got a real soft spot for Horace Horsecollar. I don't think he gets nearly enough love because he's obscure. As I can tell by Caitlin's face,
she knows who he is. For one,
I know Ian.
Okay.
Yeah, we play him in Villainous.
She doesn't know what he's from other than the board game, but she does know him.
He's from Steamboat Willie.
He is actually one of the characters that is not in Steamboat Willie.
Yeah.
Then why is he in the game?
They probably are just targeting, generically targeting characters from that era in the most famous black and white Mickey cartoon.
I love how I went into this like, hey, let's all have fun, and now I'm going to get like a 4-hour lecture on this after we're off the podcast.
I'm okay.
Not from you.
But those are two that I would like to meet.
I actually think mine is like going back to the weird era where he was there. Roger Rabbit. I would love to, like, obviously I don't feel like there's a PG way they could have Jessica Rabbit in the parks, but I love Roger Rabbit. It's one of the movies that like defined growing up for me. Like the dip scene is my trauma. But I literally just would have loved to have gotten some weird, like, cartoonish figure with him. That, and of course... Oh, go ahead.
I feel like there was some nightmare-induced Jessica Rabbit, like, character at the park, during the heyday of the late 80s when, like, they were tripling down on that movie.
I'm very excited to find those photos. And then, of course... would be happy forever if I could get a photo with all 3 Sanderson sisters or Winifred. So, but cool. Mark, you were saying something and I cut you off because I'm more important. What's up?
Not 100% sure. I will say that like Jessica was the sort of unofficial mascot of Pleasure Island. There was a giant lit up. It's only. Okay. I don't know how to manage this because that's the name.
Because we've been talking about this all episode, even when we're talking about Pleasure Island. Test things with your audiences, and if they are immature and ridiculous, they're gonna have a bad time.
Pleasure Island is named after the island's founder, Meriwether Pleasure, who
led the orgies. Yeah.
Sure.
Dan, come on. Usually it's Mark who's in between us and a mouse fight. Who's right here? Come on.
I mean, I'm gonna side with Pleasure Island always.
That didn't
Pleasure Island is right.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, it's fine. I'm siding with Pleasure Island in this.
Yeah, you would. No, I'm actually really excited to see these nightmare-induced photos. I'm thrilled with it. Honestly, one of my favorite like random Easter eggs in Hollywood Studios was the billboard that they have for Roger Rabbit, just kind of above the weird dinosaur lagoon, which I still don't understand, but that's another time.
It's another time.
Yeah. So, with that, thank you everyone for joining us live. I think we've already got some comments about needing to talk more about Steamboat Willie. So, sorry for bringing that all on you, future listeners. I do want to let you know, next episode, we are going to be talking about kind of subversive Disney culture. So, I'm very excited because I'm getting to look into things I've wanted to talk about for a while, like the Goths of Disneyland Day. I've heard there was a punk rock Disney. Super looking forward to this. Also hoping to touch on Dapper Days, which as I don't think it fits with my personality, but I love the idea of wearing a fancy dress and going to Dapper Days. So I cannot wait to talk about this. But thank you all once again for joining us. I hope you enjoyed our character interactions. Talk to us on social about yours. Follow us for more photos of ours, including Dan's credit card number. So just we'll send that out to just everyone. But with that, yeah, exactly. I've got it now. So. All right, everyone. We'll see you next time. Have a mouseical May. Bye.
Wow.
We hope you've enjoyed this episode of Navigating Disney, a Cynic's Guide. Our producer is Caitlin Owl. Our sound engineer is Mark Sheldon. Our show is hosted by Caitlin Owl and features Dan Maselli and Mark Sheldon. For additional information, blog posts, updates, and more, go to DisneyNavigators.com or follow us on Facebook.com/DisneyNavigators, Twitter @DisneyNav, and on Instagram @Disney_Navigators. Disney Navigators, a Cynic's Guide, and all related media are not affiliated with the Walt Disney Company or any of its subsidiaries or affiliates. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you real soon.